Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. Got a bit of an eclectic mix of different bits and bobs today. Going to have a look at Typhoon Haiyan, which is rapidly and is currently bearing down on the Philippines, producing some very serious weather there in the Pacific. Also going to have a look at the update from the JMA model from Japan for the next month. That's just updated as it always does on a Friday. So yeah, a bit of a mishmash of different stuff coming up for today's video. But before I get on with that, just talk about the advertising. There's video ads on my pages at GazWorldBiz.com. If you hit play on the video ad, you'll be supporting GazWorldBiz.com, and thanks very much for doing that. So first of all, starting off with Super Typhoon Haiyan, and this is the image from space of Haiyan taken a few hours ago. A wonderful satellite picture of that. Of course, you can clearly make out where Haiyan is. It's that huge, massive, swirling white, and there's the eye of the storm in the centre of the depression. Very intense storm this is. This could be one of the, if not the most intense storms in recorded history. So a massive storm, really producing very serious weather for the Philippines. They're going to be having, or they are having, 200 mile an hour winds. There's going to be 400 millimetres. Can you believe that? 400 millimetres, 15 inches of rain, and 15 metre or 45 foot storm surges associated with this typhoon. So very serious weather. This vibrant image here is the radar picture with excuse me, of the rain associated with Typhoon Haiyan. Very serious rainfall there. Say up to 15 inches, 400 millimetres of rain falling from this storm on the Philippines. So do spare a thought for them when you're under today's rain. There is going to be some rain around today, nothing like that of course. Yeah, we've got some outbreaks of rain feeding up from the southwest just at the moment. It's going to be quite a wet afternoon actually for much of England, and the high resolution NAE model from the website Weather Online. So it's going to be quite wet across parts of the Midlands, central southern England this afternoon. Could be up to 15-20 millimetres of rain, but as I say, spare a thought if you're under that for the Philippines, where they've got 400 millimetres of rain coming up in some places. Now going on to the longer range outlook, this is the JMA model. This is, I say, from Japan. It updates every Friday. These are 500 millibar height anomalies from the JMA model. This is broken down into weekly periods. So this first weekly period is going to be taking us from the 8th to the 15th of November. You know the way 500 millibar heights works, the yellow and orange areas where we've got above average heights and extrapolates to high pressure. We've got blue colours, we've got below average heights and extrapolates to low pressure. So for the coming week, this is showing high pressure sitting as an anomaly, anomalous area of high pressure to the south and the southwest of the country. The blue colours here indicating low pressure sitting to the north and the northwest of the country. A very strong jet stream running through the British Isles, something like that. So it's going to continue to be a very unsettled. But this area of high pressure down to the southwest is just having more of an influence on on our weather than it did through the first week of November. So I don't think that the south it should be quite as wet and windy, but still generally quite an unsettled sort of pattern coming up for the next week. As we move through to the second weekly period, which will be taking us from the 15th to the 22nd of November, then we start seeing the heights pulling out in towards the mid-Atlantic. Actually, got this area of high pressure pulling back just off the coast of Newfoundland. We're setting up a trough of low pressure, shallow trough around the British Isles actually. Just a hint of some blocking beginning to emerge to the south. We've got some yellow colours just beginning to emerge around the southern tip of Greenland. That basically is a continuation of an unsettled pattern. But I'll just highlight where the British Isles is because we're upside down. So we are under the blue coast. We are under a shallow trough. It's not desperately unsettled, but there will be showers associated with that, I think. But the main thing is with the high pressure pulling back into the Atlantic, as it is, we're probably bringing in more of a northerly to northwesterly flow across the country. So through that middle week period, 15th to 22nd, I think it could be starting to turn just a little bit cooler across parts of the country. And then finally going through to the third and fourth weeks with the JMA model. Quite interesting because then definite signs that we're setting up high pressure around Greenland. The high pressure is moving up in terms of the yellow colours, the above average heights, moving up towards Greenland off the coast of Newfoundland. Again, there's the British Isles just there, and with the high pressure moving up to sit to the south and west of Greenland, we're setting the trough of low pressure just to the southeast of the country. That's potentially quite a cold pattern as we go to the end of November and the start of December. I think we are sending the jet stream southwards around that trough of low pressure. So we probably find ourselves on the cold side of the jet, and this trough of low pressure could be starting to bring in some showers, longer spells of rain, possibly some wintry precipitation as well in one or two places. We'll be bringing in northerly winds, I think. Winds will turn increasingly northerly between that trough of low pressure to the southeast and the high pressure up towards Greenland. So that's potentially a colder signal, I think, as we go through to the end of November and into the start of December with the JMA model. Very interesting update that. We're going to have to monitor that, see exactly how much the heights increase over Greenland, but potentially that is quite a cold looking end to November and start to December. Finally, for this sort of eclectic mix of different stuff, we've got the 500 millibar height forecast through from Hugh Vandendoel in the United States. He works as part of NOAA, the official weather forecasters above the United States. His forecasts are based on sea surface temperature anomalies, and this is the 500 millibar height anomaly for December, January, February that his model has created based on the current sea surface temperature anomalies, and it's a continuation of what we've seen throughout the autumn when we've been checking these charts. It's just been updated yesterday. We've got the above average height sitting over Greenland, we've got below average height sitting to the south of the country, and it's just the same idea, but we've had from this model for several updates now. It's a cold winter signal being signalled there, with a lot of blocking to the north and going to the north of Scandinavia as well. That will feed the cold air out of the mid-latitudes, down out of the pole, down into the mid-latitudes, and we would almost certainly get a cold winter from that 500 millibar height anomaly. The temperature forecast for the winter, December, January, February, showing that most of Europe is going to be cold in most blue colours. Hardly surprising with all that blocking. But the British Isles, just over here on the very edge of the map, actually we're in the white colours. That's an average temperature for the winter. I'm not quite sure why that is the case, because with such an enormous amount of blocking over the polar field, we would undoubtedly get a cold winter based on that anomaly, unless there's a very, very mild December and then it turns a lot colder for January and February, something like that, that's skewing the anomaly. But with that 500 millibar height anomaly for December to February, there would undoubtedly be a cold winter for the British Isles, as there would for most of Europe, because we're always on the edge of the cold. We're next to the warm ocean, so that does negate things a little bit. But with that 500 millibar height anomaly, there is no question in my mind that we would have a colder than average winter. So, a lot of different things that I've been looking at today. Hope you found it interesting. Of course, the main point is what's going on in the Philippines. Dreadful conditions over there, and again, just goes to show how devastating and powerful the weather can be at times, and we're very lucky in our part of the world that we don't get these huge hurricanes and typhoons that they do in other places. In terms of the longer range outlook, I think we are looking at some colder weather coming along right at the end of November into the start of December, and if Hugh Vandendoel's anomaly charts are correct, this pattern that we're seeing setting up at the end of November into the start of December could just be the first signs of a colder than average winter emerging. So very interesting patterns, of course all very experimental, so don't take it too seriously, this long range stuff. We'll be doing the weekend forecast tomorrow, so come back for that. That's all for now, thanks for watching, and by the way, tonight there'll be another Christmas update, so again, come back this evening on the events page for another look at what the weather may be doing over Christmas. Weekend forecast tomorrow. That's it for now, thanks for watching.